This conference will now be recorded.
Fine. Good morning, guys. And I thought it's on last class means everyone will join for today's session. Like, I'm not sure. And what I do, guys, like, the Python, like, I have a 5 classes. I'm gonna share those videos, okay? Just go through that videos, okay? I couldn't say like it's mandatory, but few people ask that questions, okay? Like, what is that? What are the modules have used? Okay, like, what your dictionary? What is those few things? And I'm gonna share those videos in same drive. You guys can be watch those also. Okay, that is the one thing. It's a fair, like even every batch I'm gonna share. This is the not other recordings. It's my recordings only. Okay, the document and then uh, this videos both I can share with you guys. Let me show that. No, that's this. Like this one. 1.1 like 14. This 6 classes. Python boto installation, Python boto on Lambda functions, and this like a 6 videos I'm going to share with you guys and just go through that. Okay, and if you have any questions or any concerns, let me know. Even if you need any weekend session for Python, just we'll take it up this. If you have any questions, these are all my videos only. Okay, I will take it for the sessions. And then this is there are few more topics are pending for us. In next Saturday session we'll discuss around like we have done till now for modules we discussed now, like this locking feature and Terraform cloud, and this auto scaling some projects are pending, and this end-to-end project anyway we discussed. It's not yet discussed. We'll discuss this in another weekend for Terraform project. I mean Sunday maximum we'll take this session, and these interview questions I'll share this weekend. Will be finished this Terraform like Saturday. Okay, and that is the plan. And let's go and talk about our interview questions for Kubernetes. Okay, fine, fine, nice. 6 people joined. Great. Okay, how you do set up Kubernetes cluster, Naveen? If they ask like, as where did you set up Kubernetes? Where your Kubernetes is running in your company? What do you guys will say? Ravinash?
Using KubeADM, we set up Kubernetes cluster.
That is for practically do. Basically, what we do, if you go for real-time scenario, we used to like as manage Kubernetes cluster. Okay, I mean, let's say EKS cluster. You don't need to do all this setup manually. It's nothing like we already done EKS CTL, right? The same thing what we do in real time also. Okay, we won't take a button on to set up a like controller manager and all those manually all these things. This internally, if you go for EKS, if you go for like as AKS and GKE, like as Kubernetes, like a Google Kubernetes engine, and then Azure Kubernetes service, and then like Elastic Kubernetes service. This is AWS, this is Azure, this is Google Cloud. What they do, they are managed service. This is you don't need to do anything. A single command will be created for your cluster. Okay, like we are even this cluster also we are using for like EKCTL we are done. Na? Creating node group and then all those cluster name all the same thing we are writing using the Terraform we are using to create that all the stuff for EKS. Okay, say that we use the EKS cluster provisioning, right? If they ask in real time scenario what kind of cluster have you used, means say that we are use the EKS cluster by the AWS. Clear enough?
Yes.
Clear. And say them like I have a like as practical environment and then local environment which we set up when we are in R&D. Say that KubeADM setup we are done the cluster setup and we are deploying the application over there. Then after that we move to the EKS. Say that way also. It will be good impression for what the basic model plain Kubernetes cluster will work, how Kubernetes will work, cluster will work, and everything will know that. In EKS and nothing like as you won't learn anything like as what is API server, what is the CNI network, okay, like as what we set up the wave network and all those, right? All those things won't come in the picture. It's automatically everything will be taken care of. It won't appear for your API server. It won't appear for your scheduler. It won't appear for like as like API server and then scheduler and then let's say etcd. All those controller manager won't appear there. Okay, everything will be managed by the EKS that we provisioning using the EKCTL in our course. And what are the components are in the master node? The next question, like Rangababu, what are the components in the master node?
Yes. Master component globally monitoring clusters and respond cluster events like scheduling, scaling, restarting, and unhealthy parts.
Arey mama,
Huh?
what are the components in master node?
Components is 5 components is there.
Tell me what are
5 components is there. Kuber API server, etc CD, Kube scheduler, Kube controller manager. Last one, cloud controller
from where you get the cloud controller, man?
manager.
Okay, this is the like 4 things will be there. Okay, like as cube scheduler, API server, and then etcd and controller manager. Okay, fine. This is the 4 components are there. Even we discussed what those are will do in the initial first discussion about Kubernetes architecture. Okay, just go through that. Okay, what are the components in slave, Epsiba? Just mute Rangababu. Epsiba, what is the components in slave? Can you hear me first of all? Okay, leave it there. Avinash?
Kubelet, container engine, network proxy.
Like yes, kubelet, container engine, and then network proxy. Is it kubelet is available for like in master node as well or not?
No, it only available on slave.
No, kubelet will be there in master node also. Okay, kubelet also will be there in master node also. Remember that. Okay, even that wrong question they're gonna ask you. Okay, what is pod? Dhanalakshmi?
Hello, sir. Able to hear me? Hello.
What is a pod? Yeah, tell me.
Yeah. So pod is atomic unit of Kubernetes, where we will run the containers, and inside containers we have our application inside pod. And yeah, we will create a pod manifest file, and then we will install that file to run the pods. So in pod.yaml, we will be having 4 components like API version, kind, metadata, specifications. In API version we will have, yeah.
That's more than enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Section we are given the image ID, image tag, and then image name. Okay, fine, nice. And what is a replica set object, Satish Kumar?
Replica set purpose is the maintain a stable set of replica parts running at any given time As such, it is often used to guarantee the availability of a specific field number of identification parts.
Okay, yeah, correct. And like basically what we do, this replica set is giving that maintain for your desired state. Okay, like as for example, I want to run the 10 containers for this application, it will maintain the 10. Okay. And if even something will goes wrong, this replica set will be create the one more for us. Like what are, like not one more for us, whatever is lesser than your desired state, it will be create for us. Okay, it will check for desired state and current state. Desired state means what you asked, current state means what they are running. Fine. Clear now? Fine. The next, what is the deployment object? Satish.
Yeah. It's an it describes the application's life life cycle, such as what image of an app has to be used, and the number of pods. I mean, it will decide like the number of pods, like uh, the number of pods, like it has to be decide like which has how many numbers of to be.
No, what is the main advantage of, like, see, replica set pod will be there for pod manifest, replica set will be replica set pod manifest will come. Then what are the advantages you will get for if you use the deployment object?
Rollback updates without
No, that's
downtime.
like rollback updates and rolling up ending. Okay, and min surge, max surge, those values, right? Like without a downtime, we can deploy our application. Clear now?
Like
That is
it will contain the
sorry.
go ahead. I
Correct.
think I mean it will maintain the number of.
That is will be there. That is will be there. Pod will be there in the deployment object. It's combination of pod, replica set, and deployment object. These three objects were written in a single manifest. Okay. The deployment use case of, like, when you want to maintain the rolling updates and rollbacks, and then let's say number of pods running and then pod manifest. Everything were written in a single manifest. If written the deployment means it included the replica set and as well as pod as well, right? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is okay, that is the thing. Okay. If pod exceeds the memory, okay, let's see. There will one next question. What is the difference between the deployment and service? Naveen? Speak, Naveen.
Sorry, the service it is going to the deployment
That's fine.
events rolling the updates actually.
That's fine. Just leave it. Okay. Avinash?
So, service, in order to access the pod outside, we use service object.
Correct.
And deployment is without any downtime, and rollback is
Correct. Now let me tell you. For service object, what it will do, we can access our application outside of the world. It can be the service types. What are the service types we have? Avinash, what are the service types we have?
It's node port, cluster binding, and
Cluster binding, cluster IP.
cluster IP. Yeah.
load balancer.
close to
Like, as cluster node port and load balancer type, right? and then external name also, like to access the outside of the one namespace to another namespace communication. This is like this. We talk. That is the objects we have, service types we have, and to access your application outside this service object we need to be defined, and the labels should be matched with the this whatever we mentioned the service, and then pod should be the match. Then all the pod will be joined to the service object, and we can access the pods using this service port or a node port, or else maybe load balancer or whatever we mentioned. We discussed everything: cluster IP, node port, load balancer. Three we discussed, right, in our course. And the next, in the deployment object, we already spoke the same thing here. This deployment object is helpful to deploy our application. To access that application, the service object will be help us. It can be a different types method like load balancer, node port, and all. If cluster IP you can't access outside, okay, there is a two options only we have access to outside. One is that cluster IP, sorry, node port, and then load balancer type. Clear now? But what is the problem with the node port? Basically, it is individual IP we need to access to our application if you want to access that application. Or else, if you want to access it like central point to multiple nodes, then load balancer is helpful. And real time, which scenario we used? We used the load balancer only. Here na? Eighth question. Guys, eighth question is clear, right?
Yes.
Fine. Okay. Then if pod exceed the memory, what error will come? This we are calling as a OOM error. No, out of memory error will come. Okay, let me show that. Okay, in case image is not available, what error will come, guys? What error will come? In image is not available in this OOM. Okay, this OOM error will come. What image not available? Image pull backup error will come error, right? We saw that couple of times in our course. Now see why OOM killed means like is here is this terminated. Okay, OOM is killer mechanism to work. Now what it will do? It will be kill your pod if it is not there. But like OOM is out of memory error. What is means if in case memory is full, then the pod is not able to run using that memory is not enough to create your application. This error will come out of memory. Okay, out of memory error. Remember this. And then if image is not available, what kind of error we'll see? Image pull backup error. And then what are the errors we see in your, what are the states of your pod will be there? It may be, let's say, pending and running and crash loop backup, image pull backup, and the next out of memory, and then terminated. All are the states of your pod. Okay, let we saw that pod states. Kubernetes pod life cycle. If you see this, and you guys can see. Okay, like as running, success, failed, pending. Okay, like all those. How it will be working, like when it will pending state, when it's running state, and succeeded state, failed state, unknown state. Yeah, all this. Just initialized state, ready state, all those. Just go through this also. Okay, fine. And the next is that is extra topic. Okay, maybe the people will ask in-depth level of this kind of question. They're gonna ask you, what are the pod states are there? Okay, and what are the things you can see in, because in real time scenario every day you see, you can say that all is like as running, stating, terminated, initializing. Okay, crash loop backup error, and the image pull backup error, and then out of memory error. These kind of things we can see regularly. Understand, na? All these kind of states. They can see, they can tell in easily. Okay, you should be remember those things also. Okay, if you want to convey with them the real-time working paper. Okay, it's not be simple like saying that running and this two-state if you say that pending and running and terminating, then they will be easily understand that you are not working in a real time. You should be behave like as a real-time working paper. Okay, fine. The next, what is the namespace? Avinash, again for you. What is the namespace? What is the namespace?
A namespace is like virtual cluster. It is used to differentiate between dev, QA, and prod.
This is the mechanism basically. Like
Yeah,
we are
like
giving,
basically, yeah, correct.
it's a unique name to a resources
Avinash,
in it.
this is breaking rule.
Yes, sir. I mean, am I audible?
Yeah,
Yeah.
fine. Now let me tell you, okay? Like this namespace is the virtual cluster, basically which we are deploying your application, your server, like what you can say, your team application, let's say. Then we are using the namespaces, or else let's say specific kind of application deployed in a one place that we are calling as a that is a cluster. Like specific applications, like it can be let's say UI application, DB application, like like infrastructure applications, and all those, let's say different, let's say all those we can divide, and then we can deploy your applications. We can divide the application, and then basically in real scenarios, what we do, we can use one EKS cluster for different environment. Okay, like like in real time scenario, we won't do for all the environment in the single cluster. Like we won't do that at all. We won't do, like, because what happened in that one cluster will go, all three environment will go down, right? What we do, let's say dev is different, and then staging is different, and production is different EKS clusters we do, and different inside the namespace we create, and the like as which team application need to deploy from the specific cluster, they deploy and they will managing that applications in the specific cluster. Clear? Okay, that's fine, Avinash. No problem. Okay, then next, let's say how to communicate one namespace part to another namespace. Basically, what you do, once the namespace is created, now this is your service name. This service name, like what are the service you deploy, and this is a namespace name. Remember, this is until this namespace, this -x -b is the names. Okay, don't confuse anything. This, I mean, like you can say like service name, namespace name, and this SVC cluster, and then local. This is a common words. Okay, this is the where we can communicate that one service of application to another, one namespace to another namespace. Remember, it's a very important. Okay, they will ask you how you can define the service URL. Service URL means this is the way. Service name, namespace name, SVC dot cluster dot local, cluster dot local. Okay, to communicate with the one namespace part to another namespace. But internally, one namespace part they can communicate very easily. But if you want to communicate other namespace parts, if we are set up the network policy, then we can do this way. Then they will ask you, then how do you? I think maybe it's down will be the network policy and all anything. Okay, we'll see. What they do, like basically, if you don't want to access specific namespace or specific pods, specific kind of names of pods, what to do? We can return network policy in that case. Okay. You can return the network policy to set up a who wants to access which applications. Okay, that is what. And the next, what is the init container? Anyone? We discussed already this kind of task. Lakshmi, what is init
Yeah,
container?
init container runs before our application runs. For example, uh, like maybe if you want to run some of the scripts before our actual application runs, that we will put it inside a init container. Maybe, sir. I'm not.
Before running any
Not
pod,
maybe. Don't say that. Okay, interview point of
No, example I'm saying.
Satish, tell.
Example I'm not sure. But the thing is, like, it will run before our application runs.
But that's fine. Whatever you know, just give that answer in real time scenario. If you go for interview now, don't say not sure. Okay, just I'm giving hint
Mm-mm.
for you.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah. Okay, sir.
it's a real interview. What I'm taking. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
if not
Okay.
sure means they will be treated as you are not used.
Mm-hmm.
Not anything. Not only this question. Any questions. Say that if you the specific real scenario is say them like I didn't work till know that kind of scenario. Maybe I didn't get a chance to work. That kind of things you need to. But say that init contains a simple concept. Okay, if they may using for or like regular things. No, this is same. Well, like for initial script you want to run, let's say initialization or let's say credential setup. Okay, and init contains a supporting container to run your main container. Okay, supporting container for your run your main containers. Like say like as for example, you want to pull the image from the ECR repository, let's say, like, and you want to make it a secret object. You want to create a secret object first. And that is one init container we can make it. Or else, let's say you want to get the values from Vault. Vault is the and then another tool to store your sensitive data. It can be like as username, passwords, all those things. Okay, those what they do, you want to get that. If you want to get that, what do you should be initialize the vault first. Initialize the vault means you need to log in the vault and then get that vault values. Now that init containers we are gonna set up for every applications to pull the to get the vault values. Clear na? Clear? That is the supporting containers. Like in case they will ask you if init container fails, what about what happened for main container? What happens?
It will not run.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, it won't run the main container. If the init container fails, the main container won't be run. Remember, that's a very, very important scenario-based question. Fine. And then what is the difference between the pod and container, Satish?
a pod can container is something like an image, like what we observed in the Docker, and but a pod is maybe having one
Even
or
pod.
yeah,
In Kubernetes also we are calling it that is also is a container.
yeah, yeah. But pod is having
But
more
inside
than
pod, it's running as a container for us. Yes, correct, exactly. Inside the pod, we can run the multiple containers, but in the pod, in the container, we can't run the another container. Okay, tell me one thing, guys. This question, I think I didn't discuss any topic on this. How to set up a Docker inside Docker? What I mean, I have a one Linux mission. Let's say this question, then you may face sometime in any time in the interview point of time. I have one Linux mission. I installed Docker in this mission. It works fine. Like when I run the container, inside the container is Docker is available or not? In Docker is will be installed or not in this container? Is there or not, guys? Because it's a normal Java application. Let's say, is it Docker is available inside your container? Is there or not?
Yes.
Is there? Hey, how it will come back? Docker
No, we
inside
need to
Docker.
install Docker daemon, right?
You need to install the Docker daemon. Okay, or else what we are doing that for that kind of scenario, you want to run inside container inside like a Docker inside Docker means for that concept we are calling as a dined. Okay, okay, dined concept. Okay, there is a one image for dined image. if this is, we are never used in real time scenario, but people will ask this kind of, Docker inside Docker to run. This is a docker.com. It's a blog. See, Docker in action, like, we need to bind commands. There is a bind command they are calling as a, what's the special in my bind image? That we are calling bind image we can use, like, it's like internally it will follow the same, what we run the Docker, right? Docker daemon, it will take the Docker daemon and then to run that Docker inside the Docker. But just go through this. Remember, tell them a bind image, using bind image we can implement this. Okay, say that if someone will ask, this is a bind, but you face rarely this kind of questions. But if sometimes face, then say this, like a Docker inside Docker. Okay, but we never used in real time scenario. Fine. Okay, this pod is like, as we can run the multiple applications inside the pod, but in container we can run the multiple applications. And this container name is specifically for the naming convention we use for Docker, and the pod is for Kubernetes. Fine, clear, guys? That where we are running our actual application in Kubernetes pod, where we are running actual application container, that is the naming convention which we are calling. Okay, but how many containers can run in the single pod? Naveen?
We can. Okay.
Yeah, Vinesh, tell me, man.
So we can run multiple containers, but we only prefer one. We only prefer one pod, one container.
Yeah, super. Exactly, we can run the multiple pods, multiple containers inside single pod, but we are using real time. Say that we are using only one container running the pod. Okay, super. The next, what is a secret object, Satish?
It is basically I mean, for password management and those things we use the secret object. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. On sensitive data or the password management things could be handled.
Yes, if you want to, like, maintain your sensitive data, we are creating a secret object. It can be login details, or secret keys, username, passwords, those kind of information. Okay, that's where we're using a secret object. Fine. What is the difference between the secrets and config maps, then, Lakshmi?
Yes, sir. So secrets, we are using secrets to store sensitive data and config maps to store insensitive data. So for both of them, we have to create secret.aml and config maps.aml files, and
No,
those files, yeah,
one thing.
sir.
The names are, it's not a mandatory to secrets.aml and config map.ml. Okay,
Yeah.
the names of files, it's not be like secrets.ml and then config.ml. We don't need to give the same names. Okay,
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
remember, we can give any names. Okay, don't say that in interview point of time. Let's create a secret object and then ml object. Okay, say this way,
Yeah.
and then what content inside that secret object. That's it. Don't mention the secret.ml and then config map.ml. Okay,
Okay. Okay, sir.
fine. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, and we are invoking those objects inside our pod file, pod manifest file.
That's where you need to tell, not a part.ml.
Yeah,
Now,
and
like, yes, basically, that's right. Like, the secret objects are having the sensitive data, and then config maps contains the non-sensitive data, and that is the main things. That is the main difference between this. Then how we can access means we can say that volume from, and then you need to mention the secret object, those things that we already discussed. Okay, we can pass these values from using from file and then command line, or multiple ways. If someone will ask that what, how many ways we can do, explain all the ways which we discussed. Fine, great. And then what is the demand set, Satish Kumar?
Demand set is a kind of service which is running on every node. That means pod. How many nodes that pods will run queue proxy is the kind of demand set. A demand set ensures that all nodes run a copy of pod.
Correct, correct. Now basically this demand set is there, like, you know, it's kind of every, how many nodes with each node this demand set should be run. And even if you want, you can exclude that, but you know, this will be like, it will be managed for one pod at least, should be, not one pod should be run on the every node. Like for example, let's say as internally we have QB proxy is the one kind of demand set, and real time scenario we want to send a logs to the your logging framework, and let's say node exporters, okay, and then any Java agents, all those every node you want to run, we are using that this like a skip proxy, like this demand set object. Okay, not skip proxy, it's a demand set. Fine, like every, how many nodes we have, each node you want to run the one pod, we are using a demand set object. Okay, and the next, what is a scheduler? For Rangababu, what is scheduler?
Scheduler is control planner processing assigns pod to nodes.
Correct, to deploy a pods to the nodes.
Nodes.
Okay, how to run a pod in a particular node, Rangababu?
Each valid node and blindly to pod to sustainable nodes.
Okay, Mama, like I'm asking about how to run a pod on a particular node. How did you specify that in your manifest file?
Sir, by
Valid
using node
placement.
selector.
I discussed like Dhanlakshmi,
Valid.
Yeah, by using node selector.
by using the node selector in your pod manifest. Correct. Fine. And the next topic is what is the persistent volume claim? Sir, you didn't discuss this, no? Like definitely, guys. I'll take it up one session for this also. This is rarely we used in our main things where we want to store your data, like let's say DB data, or you know, let's say memcache data. Those kind of scenario we use this kind of volumes. What this will do, it will create a one volume. It's kind of volumes, like in Docker volumes is there, right? The same way this persistent volume. And if you want to use this volume, we are using the persistent volume claim. Okay, and then let's say this, you can read this PVC. This we are calling is a PVC, persistent volume claim. Okay, and say this is the one. Now we can use these persistent volumes in different ways. Okay, like external mount also, like Azure disk, Azure file, like as AWS Elastic Block, EBS volume, Cinder, and Cinder is a deprecated one. Okay, Flex volume also deprecated. GCE persistent disk, Gluster FS, RBD, PowerWalks volume. Like we can use a different kind of volumes here. And here is that simply it will be assigning us. Let me, like when I'm preparing in, I know, exam, this is what I use this. Now see this persistent volume, like each PV contains the specific status and which is specified the status of the volume, the name of the persistent volume object must be. Now you need to specify that how much storage or this volume need to be created. Okay. And this is the access mode. What is the read and write ones? This is the access modes, and then specify the how much GB volume you want to create. How much GB volume you want to create. And then next is that how to use this volume is that persistent volume claims object will be there. The same name whatever there we given, the same name we need to give. Then like access mode resource storage class is low. Okay, the label should be matched here. Okay, like something that should be match. Like as when it will be matched, like as match expressions they used, and then this is the name, like this is your metadata for this person volume claim, read runs file storage class selector. This is label should be matched, or let's say stable match label release table, and it should be have the same labels here. Okay, and then note option hard and all here. Let me percent volume PV PVC. This is the same thing where it's the same page it is. No, like if you want to use that volume, whatever we create, the same what we use this percent volume claim object we used. Okay, like to use this object, whatever we create. Okay, this is NFS. This NFS volume they used. There is a simple example out there. Let me show that. Let me show this actually. Let me show. See, this is the like persistent volume. Okay, this is the name task PV volume, and then local type and read runs 10 GB volume we are creating. Host path, this is the same host mission where the containers are running, and this is where I can use the NFS and the cluster FS and different places here. And here how to use that percent volume claim here is like the name percent PV volume, right? And here what you need to do, we need to like as the name task PV claim, you need to give this name, and you need to say that manual, and then this should be a matching something like 3 GB percent volume claim. Like as how much volume you want to claim from this, what the volume you created here. What is the volume you created? It will be if you have the PV, if it what will do, it will percent volume is created, and then it will be claimed that percent volume. Like as if it's the don't more than that, like for example you create the 10 GB here, and you can claim only for inside the 10 GB only, not more than that you can't claim. It's for example 3 GB. If your percent volume will be like as like 5 GB, you can't claim here is that 15 GB. Okay, like inside like lesser than what you are claim, that whatever you create volume percent volume, that much we can need to be use this. We'll see this, like this is rare cases we use percent volume claim for to like as memcache, like for example redis container if you deployed, then we use this percent volume claim, or else let's say those kind of scenarios. So let's say database, the database scenario we use this data to store your percent volume data. Okay, those kind of scenario we need a hard disk to store your data. Okay, we'll see this. I'll show that with practically with some time. It's a rare cases we use like as one or two objects in real time. So not for every object we are using percent volume claim. One or two, this kind of like as any when you run the memcache mainly. The databases we use the like managed databases. We are not running in Kubernetes databases. We are managed like as RDS we are using to create a databases. And this is just for memcache, Redis, and that scenario we are using this. Fine. Okay, the next, what is ambassador container? This same kind of init container. It's a, like a some special features are there. Okay, I never be used for this. We have init containers, but ambassador containers we don't have. No, even you can see this ambassador pattern. It's a sidecar container only. It's one kind of sidecar container only. Like as what need to be used. Say the pod ambassador container. It's for to use for the multiple places. This same. Connecting a multiple Redis servers scenario. This is one scenario he explained for the ambassador pattern. It's same kind of sidecar containers only. Okay, it's not be different than this, but why this naming convention they used. This scenario he explained this, and see that official document extending application with the multi containers. Then it is. How to use the ambassador adapter sidecar and init containers extended your application. This amount of flexibility available to run the variety of applications. This proxy containers the pod common enough that has the name is called as a ambassador pattern. Adding the basic TLS support only for beginning. Here is a few other things can be done with the ambassador pattern. See these scenarios, what they are giving. Now, if you want to all the traffic in the cluster be encrypted with TLS certificate, you must decide the install the Nginx rather than or the proxy every pod in the cluster. You can even go step further, use like a mutual LTS to ensure that all the requests are authenticated as well as encrypted. In this scenario, we are using that ambassador container. You can use the proxy, ensure that centralized auth authority authenticates all the requests by verifying the some token JWTS tokens. Okay, that is another scenario. Like as you can connect with or secure the tunnel for external database. This is especially handled by the database that does not have the built-in TLS support in that scenarios. Like here they are given the three containers. What they mention here is, and coming here and then going for all the requests to the different ways, then we can use the ambassador container. Like different pods want to connect for all the pods. Every pod you want to communicate with this, like TLS means what? HTTPS. HTTPS you want to connect. That is what they give in a scenario. But rare cases they're gonna ask that. Say that it's kind of sidecar containers to manage the like as the request reach for multiple pods and all those things. We are using ambassador containers. It's kind of sidecar container only. It's called as a sidecar containers. How many service type you have Kubernetes that we discussed? Cluster IP, node port, and then load balancer type, right? That we discussed. What is the default service type? Cluster IP is the default service type, right? And the next is what is the ingress and load balancer? Anyone? Like we have taken for 1 hour session, right? This is 2 hour. We already discussed this here. That's the reason I discussed here. This ambassador container is clear, guys. It's a some simple like as sidecar container, okay? Like to manage the multiple requests to the from pod. That's what we just read. Does anyone knows about this? What is the difference between ingress and load balancer? Anyone?
Ingress routes traffic to specific domain.
Sorry. Correct. Load balancer, what we do, we can act. Correct. If you have a multiple applications deployed in service object and you want to access based on the domain and path, and this ingress will be a useful. And load balancer is that to like distribute the load same applications for multiple containers. The ingress is that multiple service path, service based request. Like as for example, based path based request, service based request, we can use the ingress. Ingress is the first point of contact to reach your application in real-time scenario. Clear, guys? It's kind of load balance only. Ingress means that is a load balance only, but it's a path-based. In application load balancer we use now the same thing here. Ingress. We have done that setup if you remember last class. Okay. How to schedule a pod in a Kubernetes? How to schedule a pod? Like I mean, schedule a job in pod. You want to schedule a one job in your pod, like what, how we can do? Anyone? Like for some script I want to schedule for specific time. How do you schedule? Which object we can use? Specific time. Or else only one time I want to run, let's say. What kind of objects we can use? We discussed now, job and cron jobs. We used to implement the cron job and cron jobs we are using for the scheduling the jobs. Okay, how many masters are there in your cluster? Basically, in EKS, if you are manage the EKS cluster, there is no master node at all. Okay, there is no master node at all. If you go for setup a EKS or AKS or anything, and it is managed by the Kubernetes controller manager. Like in Kubernetes EKS cluster itself, it will manage. It won't be managed for me. If you set up for your kubeadm setup, let's say if you say that two master nodes we have, one master node will go down, then it will be secondary master node will be work as a node, and then it will be used for the deployment object. Now they will ask the question: in case, for example, let's say in master node went down, what happened for our applications? In master node is down, and what happened that can we access the applications or not? Yes. If master node is down, can we access the applications or not?
No, sir.
Array, mama, what happened? Nodes, that master is somewhere running and the nodes are applications running somewhere. The applications are deployed and we can able to access. Okay, but the problem here is it's can't be manageable. Let's say if the new load won't come, new workload won't come. Okay, first thing. Second thing is the pod will go down. No one will be come and manage your pods. That is second thing. These kind of things is not be manageable. Understand? Na? The applications are running fine, but if something goes wrong, it can't be like replicas, it won't work in that case, and new deployments won't happen. These all things are not happens. Understand, right? Clear, right? What I mean? No. What I mean, let's say you have multiple nodes. Okay, you have multiple nodes. You are running multiple pods there over there. Okay, like you have the master node, like this master node down. Let's say now your work will be assigning by the master, right? Let's say if master will down, your work is completely is working, and then we can access here. But the problem here is basically if something goes down here, no one will be managed from here to deploy here somewhere. Understand, na? Understand, right? Now that's what new workload won't come. Well, if something goes wrong here, no one will be managed this from here. That things that new workload and new management won't be there. Okay, fine. That is a thing. What is the controller manager? This is what this is the we are calling as a master node is called as a controller manager. What is kube proxy will do? It will assigning a IP address to each pod. It is assigning a IP address for each pod, and then it will be do a little bit load balancing of your pods also. Okay, that's kube proxy. Assigning a IP to each and every pod. Who will assigning IP address to pod? This kube proxy will do that. What is controller manager will do? It will be like it will someone in node some pod is not running, the kubelet will come and it will intimate the controller manager. Controller manager will be checking for that how many pods are running, and it will intimate to the scheduler. Scheduler will be go and like as deploy your application on the nodes. It is manager. Okay, controller manager is managed for your desired state and current state. All time should be matchable or not. Checking, keep on checking. It's a kind of watchers. It's kind of watcher. Clear, guys? Clear, na? And the next is what is the purpose of API server? To submit your manifest file. To submit your manifest file. And how to troubleshoot if the pod is not, if pod is running or not? How do you check, guys? If pod is not running, how do you troubleshoot?
kubectl logs or describe pod.
Tell me one, dude. First kubectl like blocks and then pod name. Let's say that is the one, and the other one is the kubectl describe command. Okay, understand, right? You mentioned kubectl log describe command. Understand, like either kubectl logs and then kubectl describe will give the more information for us. Nice, clear now? That's we do. And then okay, how to scale your pods through a command like we discussed now, like as kubectl let's say kubectl deploy deployment object and then replica set equal to, if they are running 3 then mention the 4 simply. Okay, that way we can just mention the replica set number, the deployment object, that we can scale the your deployment, just change the replica set number. How to roll back the previous version? In the deployment object we discussed, and we need to be, let me show that. We need to go for Kubernetes and go for deployment objects. These rolling updates we are done, right? Okay, this rollbacks. We need to execute the kubectl rollout status deployment object and rollout history and rollout undo again rollout. This is same commands will come. Okay, rollout status again. No, this is the way we can roll back the previous version. Rollout status, rollout history, and the rollout undo. Like undo means this command will do for previous deployment, and the rollout status, and then describe that what it will happen. Now, earlier this V2 is running, now it will change to the V2 to V1. Clear, guys? Clear, no? And if you want to scale up, just we can mention this, kubectl scale deployment name, fn replica equal to 4, fn replica equal to 4. That's where we can scale that. And then rollout option we can use to roll out, and then we can use a rollout status, rollout undo, rollout status, and rollout history. These commands we can use to undo the previous sessions. And this is again blah blah questions. This is the one guy shared recently. All those questions, these questions I added here. Let's see this. Kubernetes upgrade from one version to another version if certification will expire. Not this. Basically, this is a different question. Certification will expire. Now, how to upgrade from one version to another version? Basically, what happens, right? This is a like even exam question also in Kubernetes exam question also. What we do, we are like as let me show this. These are the main topics. This upgrading Kubernetes. Okay, this is the main thing. Like for example, one version to another version, how to upgrade that. Okay, this command, this is a procedure actually. Okay, like as upgrade from the one node. Like for example, let's say you are currently the Kubernetes cluster is running on 1.18. Let's say 1.18 is right now is 1.23 right now. It's currently going on. Like for example, let's say you are running 1.18. You can't upgrade from directly from 1.23 directly. You can't upgrade like that. Okay, now you need to first one by one step you need to go. First 1.18 to 1.19, 1.19 to 1.20, 1.20 to 21, 1.21 to 22. And this way we need to be upgrade for one by version. Like you can't be deploy everything in the at once. You can't do that. You can't do that. Then how we can do that? It is simply like first you can do for update here. You can see that upgrade from here. You need to unhold this and update this. We need to unhold the KubeADM. Okay, and the next update and get install that KubeADM for this version and unhold this. And the next you can check for plan, like what version you are there, what version you are going to be update. And the next you need to upgrade this command. You need to upgrade this apply command and it will upgrade your version. And then upgrade the node and then upgrade apply for the, this is the control plane nodes. Control plane nodes means master nodes. And then drain the node, like as what it will do, like prepare the node maintenance by marketing. It's a unscheduling and evicting the workloads. We need to drain the node, like before running anything, just drain the node first, because it won't be running any applications on this specific node. Okay, and the kubelet and kubectl upgradation, you need to first same whatever we are just done, right? This is the what we do. After the upgrading is done, we need to restart and bring node back to the online. We can do the uncardan. Cardan means make this on offline, and online you need to uncardan. Cardan means make them to offline. Uncardan is make them to online. Means no workload will be happen that specific node, that node name. Okay, like as this is the way we need to upgrade from one version to another version. It's again it's an administration task, like as to upgrade from one version to another version. Even this is the steps they given for us. Okay, if you go for in the master node, if you don't have, that's only nodes will be there. In that scenario, we can do for all this this command kubectl commands kubelet, and you should be maintain this kubectl uncard and node names, and kubectl get nodes, and then as all those stuff. We need to upgrade the all the version for what we want to deploy here. kubectl and kubelet. This is for Ubuntu. This is for CentOS. First, you need to drain the nodes, and then after that you need to be made. First, drain the node means what? You don't want to do any workload for the specific node. Okay, this is the where we can manage your new version of kubelet or kubeadm to deploy. We do that hands-on, then only we'll get more clarity on this. What we can do, we have a like here. What we can do, just play here, like check for the what versions are there, cluster is there here, this katakoda playground. Just play these commands inside this. You can easily find that. Check for the what version is running, what version is not running. Like sign up this katakoda and then play around your Kubernetes cluster version upgradation and those things instead of your manual one. Use that playground katakoda process and playground. And the next, okay, then where is this? The etcd backup and restore in Kubernetes cluster, what we do, we need to, that is also one of the exam question, etcd backup and restore. See this, it's a, what we do, we need to take a snapshot first. Okay, this is the command to take a snapshot. This is the snapshot we can do, like as etcd ctl command we need to use and take a backup of the snapshot first, and then we need to restore that, using this restore command, etcd snapshot restore command, etcd ctl command. Okay, even exam question they will give, what they do, they will ask you to first these two commands only. They will ask you existing one need to be create a snapshot first, this command. Let me show that. Where is that? Not this. No, this solve the member. Backupping and DCT. Now, first what they will ask you to take a snapshot, save the snapshot. Snapshot etcd ctl and endpoints are these URLs. Endpoints will come like this URLs and then key names, at names. You need to pass these three values, and after that we need to use the snapshot save command and this name whatever name you wish. The same name, if you want to restore that, what you do, you need to use the restore under that same name, whatever the name you given. Snapshot save and then snapshot restore. These commands we are going to etcd ctl and then snapshot store, snapshot save. Save means backup, restore means restore that. Two commands we can use, that etcd data backup and restore. And that is things is the recent issues on Kubernetes. Let's say mostly what problem we are facing is the pods are draining sometime, some pods are like a stuck, and then it's not scaling, like as if we get the more load and we are problem facing, two pods are not responding. Now for that scenario, what we do, we need to implement that HPA means pod auto scaling, like as horizontal pod auto scaling. HPA means horizontal pod, HPA in Kubernetes. Horizontal pod auto scaling. Now, if the pod is based on the request, the HPA is happening for based on the request. How many requests are you are getting for your pod? That based on that it will be increasing your pod. We are implemented this concept. Okay, that what you need to say. And let's say some certification is expired, then we are like as such store certificate we are upgrading, and then let's all this kind of scenario you guys can be tell them. Okay, whatever we are facing these issues, whatever new implementation of this, that's let's say like as memory issues, and then let's say cost optimization, like basically when you run your pod, you are specifying for your request and limits resources, CPU and RAM, then that will be more, and then we reduce that. Okay, those things you guys can be explained in the scenario when they ask these kind of questions. Take one scenario, then explain that. It's not a correct or wrong out of box actually, that you are done or not out of box, but you need to convince with them. Okay, that is the one. And node affinity and pod affinity. This is again, like to which node you want to deploy or which node you want to ignore. Okay, that's where we can go for official document for more. Assigning pod to the nodes, like a specific pod node to the node, and we can use the node selector options, and we can implement that. That is the node affinity, node pod affinity. This pod affinity and node affinity and affinity. Like just read about this document, guys. If it will ask, someone will ask that. Okay, and This is again all our thing. Application has domain external communication. Validate your domain from ingress. I'm not sure what this question he may ask. Application has domain external communication. How do you validate your domain from ingress? Now what we do, we can validate using the like as what we can say, that is network policy. We can use for the network policy to validate that, whitelisting all those things, whitelisting the domain, and then all those things. And then part security policy, this part security, that is this is also part security policy. What to do, the network policy we are returning for like which pod you want to deploy, which namespace, and like what are the network ports you can access, from which namespace you want to access, which namespace you don't want to access. All those we can return the policy. This is how policies will come, network policy. That means this is, let's say, CKA and network policy. If we see network policy, then we can mention that who IP want to block, what are the IP address you want to allow, from where you want to get that, what is the namespaces project should become, what are the protocols need to allow, what is the IP you want to outside you want to go. This ingress means coming from, egress means outgoing one. Okay, what are the outgoing IP address? We can restrict that here. Okay, like ingress is the match label, namespace match label, labels, and this uh, what we can do, we can mention this all the which namespace you want to access, which is the IP address, which is the port numbers, what is the IP range you want to allow them, what is the IP range you want to block them. All those we need to return this network policy object. That is again one more concept for restricting the pod level security. How to add the new node in your cluster, like kubeadm join command is there, right? Like if the join command we do, then it's if it is real-time EKS cluster, what we do, we have a init scripts that should be running on a like as node auto scaling. That node auto scaling, we add the user data, right? There we are mentioning that script to join your nodes in your cluster. What is the node port range, guys? We discussed what is the node port range. What is the node port range?
30,000 to 32,760.
32,000. 32,700.
67.
2,767. Okay. What is the difference between kubelet and kubectl? Kubectl is the command line. Kubelet is the agent which is running on the nodes. Okay. Kubectl is a command line to manage our Kubernetes cluster, and kubelet is the agent is running on nodes. Like as what is the kubelet? Kubelet is something goes wrong in some pods are not running. It will come and it will intimate to the master node. Okay, like as to like kubelet don't have option to spin up the new pods. It will just intimate to the master node. What is the taint and tolerations? The same thing, like as again here is a one more technical word to taint and tolerance. Like as some you want to drain the nodes. Okay, this is a node affinity that's we just talked, right? This node affinity is the property pod that attack them to set up nodes either as a preferences or a hard requirement. Taint is that opposite of that allow the nodes to repel or set up pods. Toleration is applied to pods and allow but do not require the pod schedule onto nodes which is matching taints. Now the same case, same kind of node selector kind of, which we need to be, which is matching for the same the nodes, and which will be schedule the applications, schedule or no schedule, like whatever we are restricting that parts want to. This is also I never be involved till now. This state and tolerance I never be used. And this security context also I'm not sure what exactly they are talking about. Maybe not full question. Security context in Kubernetes. configure a security context for a pod containers. The specify security settings in pod, including security context field in the pod specification. The security context field is the pod security context. The security setting you specify the pod applied to containers in the pod. Here is the configuration file. Like what it will do basically. And access control setting the pod container security context setting include the yeah. Now what this is mentioned here is like basically to run a one second guys. Now what exactly it means like as which user want to access your application, which user you don't want access applications, okay, which file you want access, all those we can restrict using this security context guys. Even this also I'm not aware of that much in depth of the security context in real scenarios. Okay, you will need to learn many things on this. Okay, what happened in infinite container phase? This is that main containers will fail. What is network policies? That is just we can restrict that. Just now we discussed, right? Network policies to restrict the specific namespace we want to access, ingress and egress. We are restricting from the network policies. There are many things are there. The main thing is that taint and tolerations and security context level and the persistent volume. These three are not done. And there is a readiness and liveness also. Like they may be asked the question. Readiness and liveness means that application is ready to serve your request. Okay. This is a health check timing. We mentioned the readiness and liveness. That's it. Just learn that also. This is the main questions. If you go for an interview, not more than this, they're gonna ask you. Fine. Just have a look once and prepare well, then go for it. Maximum all questions are covered, all the topics are covered first of all in entire Kubernetes. Okay. Fine guys, and then I'll share that Python that 4 videos and 5 videos totally, and just prepare that. And we don't have a class tomorrow from tomorrow, and I'll take a session for again Friday, the Friday morning. Okay, same time Friday or Thursday. I'll let you know for this project management interview questions. I mean project management means like what kind of work you will get. Okay, what is the like recent issues you have faced, how did you resolve, and then all these kind of questions. We'll take a session for this week, somewhere in the Thursday or Friday. I'll update. Mostly tomorrow is Wednesday, right? Thursday I'll take. Thursday this project interview questions we'll discuss. Thursday or like what you do then Lakshmi, what are the latest version if is there, go for beyond that one version. That it's not a big thing actually. Okay, like for example Kubernetes, let's say right now 1.23 is there, you guys will tell that 1.22, the Kubernetes version is the 1.22 we are using. Even real time we are also using the 2. At the Git we are using for something 2.22 something. Now what are the versions are there? It's not mandatory to use the updated version. This is your wish. Go for the beyond 1 or 2 versions and then tell the interview questions. Like as 2.35, right? You can mention the 2.28 or 2.22 or 2. Like that's it. Understand, no? Mention the before older releases. If you go with this older releases, like see this, all the versions we had. Okay, say this. 2.22. This 2.3. Mention this 2.4, 2.5, 2. Say the 2.26 or 2.27, whatever in between that. It's not a mandate to mention exact number. Just mention that. Okay. Even if you see your local what you installed and say that nothing, no one will be, like uh, uh, say argue with you like you should be use this only. Okay, no one will be argue with you. 2.34, this is recently installed. Understand now? No one will argue with you. You must use this only. Okay, fine. See you guys, and then meet you on again. Not tomorrow. On Thursday we'll meet for this project
Hello.
management. Yeah, man.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Avinash.
Sir, yesterday I ran Jenkins using Docker volume command. Then
Okay.
accessed it Jenkins and ran a pipeline script. And I got a Maven error, sir. Home path error, sir. And I mentioned home path also. That was an error.
You need to install that Maven. Should be there in your Docker file. That's what I mentioned. You should have installed the Maven in your system. Okay.
Yes, I installed, sir. But inside container also we have to install it.
That's what you need to return your own Docker file. You should be given your own Docker file. Inside the Docker file, what are the softwares is needed? Let's say Terraform, let's say like as Maven, inside, let's say whatever could be. You should be select all those. Or else let's install manually. It will be take it up from there. This
Okay,
is the
I install Maven. Okay.
outside host mission. Host mission won't take. If you take host mission, what you
Uh,
do, you need to volumate that Maven also to your Docker.
yeah, okay, volume it.
You need to Maven home also need to volumate to your Docker.
Yeah,
What I
okay.
mean. No, let me show you. No, this is like something you need to be. This is volumes for your, this is like a libraries. The same way, volume path, like where you install the Maven, right? You can volumate that also.
Okay.
Yes, user lib Maven, right? Something user bin Maven. That path you can set up for your volume for us, your application. Understand?
Yeah, okay. Sir. Yes, sir. Sir, one more question, sir.
Tell me.
Sir, if we are running a project, we don't know where is var file before no, sir. Before writing script, no, sir. Pipeline script.
Sorry.
Before writing pipeline script, we don't know
Tell me,
the
come again.
path. Before writing pipeline script, we don't know the path of var file that we have to mention in Docker file. So separately we have to write Jenkins pipeline outside this
Why you writing
Docker
Python?
pipeline.
You asking Python or you are asking Jenkins pipeline or Docker pipeline? What? Now
Okay,
basically,
Docker pipeline.
Let me tell you. Okay. How did you know that your var file will be generated? The var file will be generated using the pom.xml file, like as artifact ID, group ID, versioning, and packaging, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Don't create a Docker file first. Build your first Maven project till Maven. It will give the Maven package. It will give the output for you. take that path and return a Docker file first. Next step, go for one by one step. Then after that, once you return the Maven file, then go for the deployment if you can, in case. Like one by one, that is a test level. We need to implementation that. After the everything fine, then it's automatically will go for as usual. Understand it? First do that, then do the Maven, then write that Maven, you know that path, and then what is the name will be generated. Okay. And based on that, you can create and then target folder and Maven var file path and whatever it meant.
Okay.
The naming convention which he has. Even that you can build yourself using the format XML file. Understand? No?
Yeah, yesterday I ran that Jenkins Docker. I mentioned Jenkins pipeline inside that means Docker volume command by running that Jenkins.
You can
So
ping me what exactly you want. Like actually, I don't have time now. I have a need to meet. Okay.
okay,
It's
sir.
almost I need to go to there. You can ping me or you can call me for some time for this weekend. Okay. What are the question you have? You can ask me. Okay. We'll
Yeah,
talk.
okay, sir.
Okay, guys.